I never wore them again after the blood dried, my father's gloves. But I kept them, hidden beneath the floorboard in my room at Spinner's End, as if touching them might bring him back. They weren't magical, not enchanted, not bewitched, not made of dragon hide or woven by house elves, just leather worn at the palms, stitched at the thumbs. They had that smell like coal smoke and the metallic sting of factory oil. He wore them every morning before the sun rose, pulling them on with quiet ceremony, not only for warmth, but, I think, for dignity. My father was a quiet and stoic man. He had sharp moods and little affection to give, and there were years I didn't understand which of us he did understand more, me or himself. But he believed in something bigger. He never missed church, even when the pipes froze or the roof leaked above our heads. Said he wouldn't face Monday if he hadn't faced God first. He didn't talk about it, his deep faith. He lived it. And the gloves, well, they were part of that ritual. Quiet strength, honest work, endurance. He wore them every morning, even on Sundays, especially on cold winter Sundays, because that's when we walked to church. We left before the bells began, cutting down the alley past the bakery, past the iron railing that always bent the wrong way. The chapel was small, tilted at one side like the ground had sighed under its weight. The stained glass was old, bubbled and imperfect, and the wooden pews creaked with every breath. But when we walked in, something changed. The scent of wax and wood polish, the quiet hush before a hymn, and the way my father's demeanor, so often cold, softened ever so slightly when he bowed his head. He rarely looked at me during the service, but if I behaved appropriately in an adult-like manner, he would sometimes reward me with a peppermint sweet from his coat pocket. Yet he didn't say a word. I liked that place. It was the only time the world felt still. No shouting, no hexes, no boys laughing behind me in the street. Just candles, dust floating in golden shafts of light, and the sound of my father breathing beside me. Years later, I still remembered how that chapel smelled, even when I was buried in my school books, or hiding behind the thicker boys in the common room. And when he died, it was the church bells I heard in my head. I was maybe 9 years old the last time he let me hold them. I remember asking him why he always left them on the mantel overnight, instead of his coat pocket. He looked at me strange. "So I see them before I leave," he said, "to remind me who I am when the world tries to make me forget." I didn't understand it then. Not really. Years later, my second year at Hogwarts, I did forget everything. I'd had a fight in the common room, one of many. A group of older Slytherins mocking my clothes, my accent, the way my boots were worn out and scuffed up. One of them hexed my chair out from under me. They laughed. Called me the chimney sweep wizard. I skipped dinner that night. Alone, I took a long walk back to Spinner's End over the Christmas holiday. The house was colder than I remembered, empty now. He'd died years ago, yet when the memories flooded my brain, it always seemed like yesterday. When Mum spoke of it, she said he looked peaceful. I wondered if he'd seen the gloves that morning. I found them still on the mantel, exactly where he left them. The first thing I couldn't help notice were the fingers. They curled inward like they were praying. I sat there with them for hours, quietly crying as if others were there in the room. Just stared at those gloves and tried to remember the sound of his voice. Eventually I slid them on. They didn't fit, of course. My hands were thin, long. But for a moment I pretended they did, and I whispered something. Not a spell, not a curse, something older than all that. If you're listening, I don't know what I'm supposed to become. Just don't let me become nothing. The gloves held the weight of those words, of that moment, and I swear they warmed in my palms, When I returned to school, I hid them beneath the floorboard beside my trunk. I haven't touched them since, but sometimes, when the dungeon air is too still and the fire's burned low behind me, I think I hear leather creak, as if someone else is reaching for them. Would you like to hear what happened when I finally put them back on? That's another story.